At the End of the Woods by One to Poeta. It's a cold and cruel December night. Here I am, sitting on top of a tree, endlessly crying hurtful tears because of people with their closed, ignorant minds. It's December the 30th. Here I am, sitting at the top of a tree, nothing else left to do. I open my grandmother's book, filled with spells and pictures of old ornaments. With nothing else left, this little device in my chest, I take a last measure and read the chapter of punishments. Reading it carefully, I follow the instructions step by step. When I get to the part of who should be punished, I imagine the whole village being swallowed by hell. I sing the last words, close the book and finish the spell. Climbing down the tree with my feet on solid ground, I make my way to where I live, to where I survive. As I see a creature, a phoenix-shaped object soaring through, painting in burning red sky, painted in cold deep blue. A burning plane tears apart the quiet sky as I witness its crushing near the village, like consuming its gigantic flames. I hear the scream of suffering. I laugh at the hurt of those fools. With a smile on my face, I watched it unravel at the end of the woods. While making my way to enjoy the little show I created, something felt wrong. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't go on. Gasping for air, I opened the book for a secondary effect. There they were, on a warning written by my grandmother. Dear grandson, use this book with love and wisely. Many fell for this quick solution. To heal long-lasting pain, please, dearest, don't let blinding greed and addicting lust take over you. Please, don't ignore this. You'll turn to dust. I let the book fall from my hands and laughed with a little left to breathe. I got what I wanted, but death wasn't the thing I needed. I let blinding greed and addicting lust make me one of those fools. It was December the 30th. There I died at the end of the woods. The next one is by Neon Ink Stains. At the end of the woods, at the edge of the world, I'll be waiting. With stardust in my eyes and moonlight smiles, infinity beckons. Come find me. Purple Bird Collective has submitted 2 entries, and here is the first one. For I surrender realms of greenery fields, sunflowers shine truth, foliage all around at the end of the woods, I succumb to the wild. Let me count the ways where residing hearts plead for homes they can belong, for I surrender realms of greenery fields, sunflowers shine truth, foliage all around at the end of the woods, I succumb to the wild. I release eternal glimmer of nostalgic truth, belonging by trees. The next one is by the talented Riverine Reed. Olive leaves waltz to their love-struck melody, blossoming from above at their lips' touch. Frost melts at the end drift from his cheeks, emerald sprouts gracefully from the dirt below, as she brings the world her vernal embrace. A crown of flowers rises from her hair, seated at the place it desperately longs for. New half-years began, a quiet honeymoon ends. She leaves her amber heart at his doorstep. Doves flame at the end of the woods. A man holding a chest of embers watches as his heart floats past the morning dew. In every step through the slow burning fog, foot by foot, her voice echoes in his soul. I'll be back soon, darling. Next one is by S.A. Hamilton Poetry. The ghosts all stand at the end of the woods, hand in hand, forming a line, blocking the exit, offering should-haves, if onlys, and might have been fines. Here's a tall glass of regret. They croon, clucking hollow teeth. They point as they fret what fairies sing. Bring him, let us feast. Bring him, let us feast. The leafless trees stoop and offer, broads of eyes, hatred beckoning. Come and eat, my lover, come. Our fruit is flat with shame and reckoning. I examine the footpath both ahead and behind, and turn away from misplaced inventions. I remind myself of all the love I've shared, despite their malevolent conventions. I boldly weave through their festering ranks, shutting out their tittered voices, sent an utterance of thanks to the gods of second chances, and determined to make better choices. The next one is a memory of feelings and experiences I've had while walking through the midnight villages and the euphoric towns. And not for the things you believe, my dear. Oh dear, this will be for another day, if you feel like it. Crushed velvet and dreams, writes Maiden Mother Crone. Maiden Mother Crone. Entering into the woods, verdant, lush and fair, welcomes the youthful spring. There is dancing in the air. Maiden blush of blooming rose, crowned in pale angel hair. Innocence and green goodness, the forest has life to spare. Midway through the woods, the green begins to fade, bursting into summer colors, lushness to ripening shade. Like a mother's kindly wisdom, gracing her knowledge to the maid, the warm embrace of change has come. There is nothing to be afraid. At the end of the woods, gold and frost have come their way. Trees bare as they secret now. Listen closely to what they say. The gentle crone awaits for us, her face worn and grey. The wheel of the year continues to turn, our season of life within a forest's day. The next one is by M.J. Muse. The rainbows you write echoes your true colors, the person you truly are, ahead of the one you think you need to be. Walk with me every day that I may show you love comes from within, once you exit your own forest and free yourself at the end of the woods. Bindy B Poetry. There I stood at the end of the woods, shadows and sunlight dancing on my skin. You thought I feared stepping into the light, but it was you, too afraid to venture in. Darkish pen. The mist in the forest keeps within horrors and wonder arousing the skin. In between there's a line so thin, it's called the unknown, a wild spin, and there the journey will truly begin. Those diverted roads you have to choose, where at the end lays diverted news. It's a wild spin to win or to lose. It's either shining love or blinding abuse, but at the end there's no excuse. If the head's set, the choice was made, and the heart follows, the ground was laid, and the order given, the hand was played. Then there's no need to be afraid, for your handmade destiny can't just fade. Embrace it and long for the final view of your choices and how they grew, of your worries and how they flew, of your hand, what from fate it drew. for all the end of the woods lays the destined you. Jellybean Toast poetry. And years ago our hands used to kiss here as we forgot what we needed to and remembered what we wanted, and that was enough. Remember when we let this forest camouflage our sadness so we could trample despair and plant seeds of resilience. Remember when, with passion, we watched the darkness here together, letting it grow, so we could be alone? The silence was our gift, and now, my love, at the end of the woods you are, but alone, finding another kind of darkness without me. The next one is by C. Flint Webb. Layers of light and leaf play upon my soul as I sprout, new growth protected in the canopy of your loving arms. My roots searching, reaching, ever branching below into the depth of your soil made rich by spent emotion. Seasons past that now provide fertile ground to feed from our new growth among this old decay. We are dark side of canebrake, edge of meadow. We are shelter and shall ever be free from the blade of their judgment, clear-cutting all that stands in the way of their proscribed salvation. We shall stand tall, for it is the end of the woods, that is the beginning of this wild and untamed love, where layers of light and leaf play upon the magnificence of our soul. The next one is by Skin Deep 21. Do you hear the whistle of the wind at the end of the woods? Do you see the creatures here with me? Or maybe they're just me. Knocks on the trees keep me on my feet. Goosebumps are all I feel. A cool breeze from a mouth I don't see, and the whisper, "Come with me," that I hear from a sneaky voice absent. And if it's missing a soul, lifeless, "Come with me," it says louder. The birds and oats that surrounds me crying. Am I shattering? I feel as if the earth shakes under me, steps or something behind me. Am I crying? At the end of the forest, the shadows are howling, a whingy thing sobbing. She's claiming something. "Come with me," she's whispering, eternally calling her beloved. Here at the forest, "Come with me," she told me. I fell under her spell, her calling. I moved toward her slowly. The bushes were telling me something oblivious controlled me. My ears were going to explode with the laughter drum. In my pocket I carried hope, abandon it. All those who may enter, where the sinister has faces. At the end of the woods the sky was no longer blue. The sun couldn't break through. She saw me, I saw her, smiling, one crying. But who was it? At the end of the woods, my corpse forever stays, for I didn't understand. The whispers weren't for me.